Last season was like a dream for the Van Dolder's home team BMW crew. Ben Young secured 5 victories aboard his M1000RR on his way to capturing his second Canada Cup. But if it weren't for a crash in round 3 at Shubenacadie, it might very well have been Alex Dumas riding his Purple Skull Brewing Suzuki GSX R1000. Throw in the return of 14-time national champion Jordan Zoke on his LDS Consultants Kawasaki, and you have the recipe for an exciting 2023 season. Who takes the opener? The Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship starts now. Marshall Ferguson alongside Colin Fraser as we get set for round 1 of the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship in the GP Bikes Pro Superbike feature class. Of course, we saw a great qualifying between 2 names that we expected to see competing throughout the year, and they did not disappoint as the first BS Battery Pole Position Award of the year goes to Ben Young.
Yeah, so Ben is on a brand new motorcycle, very little time to set it up, and normally that would be the start of a bad story. In this case, didn't get a lot of laps, pretty much right off the bat threw down a marker that looked like it could be pole, then poured the pressure on Dumas, who made a lot of work, got close, did a great job, but we were hoping for maybe the field to tighten up a bit. Right now it looks like those 2 guys are very close, as they have been the last couple of years. Dumas may be slightly behind in terms of getting in tune with the Bridgestone rubber.
Let's hear from the man himself. Pole position, here's Ben Young.
Congratulations, Ben. It's official. You're going to be on pole position for the first race tomorrow, and that was an extremely fast lap. Tell me about it.
Yeah, thanks, Hannah. We tried something a little different than usual, and with these Bridgestones, it seemed to pay off. Yeah, it's been 4 years since we've last been here, so it's phenomenal to come out on top and to get pole again. I was pole last time here, and yeah, we'll see if we're splashing in puddles tomorrow or not, and hopefully I'll drive on Sunday.
Colin, first time we've been here since 2019. Take us on a trip around Shannonville Motorsport Park.
Well, Shannonville has a number of configurations. This is the Pro Circuit, which I call the perimeter track. That's the venue we've mostly used for nationals lately. There's also a 15-turn version that has an internal section. Now we look at our starting grids, and a pretty predictable qualifying, although Young didn't have to work too hard. Dumas worked a lot harder to get second. Good to see Zoke back, but probably most notable, there you can see Trevor Dion. He was one of the favorites, but he fell in practice, injured his right wrist, which of course does all the work on a motorcycle, so we probably won't see him till his home race at Grand Bend.
You see the rest of the grid as we get set, rolling up to get things kicked off in 2023. Let's go down to Hannah Streak in the pits with more on the return of Jordan Zoke. Hannah?
One of the big stories heading into the 2023 GP Bikes Pro Superbike class is the return of Jordan Zoke. The 14-time national champion suffered from an injury last year, resulting in him missing the entire 2022 season. Zoke, aboard his LDS Consultants Kawasaki ZX-10R, qualified 3rd on the starting grid and is happy to be back racing in the Bridgestone CSBK series. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Hannah, as here we go, Colin, with the Apex Cycle starting lights. They're out and away we go in round 1 at Shannonville. Into turn 1, Sam Garand dives around the outside as they slip through the wet, and all of a sudden it's over the top. Trevor Daly riding into the grass, over the curb.
Yeah, and thankfully I didn't get a chance to say that Trevor was fastest in the warm-up, so a lot of us were guessing this would be his breakthrough win, because I'm not sure it's going to play that way now. But good work for Garand. We know he's good in the rain, and I mean, we're probably going to have to stop this one, but he's got a solid lead already. Yeah, there we go. Garand is signaling he's seen the flag, so we're going to line them up again. So I guess the magic question right now is, can Daly clear medical and then scramble his bike back together? You can see he's getting up.
He is on his feet. As you see that one-speed Suzuki laying horizontal in the grass with the red flag out, and so they'll reassemble. But Garand jumps out to the early lead here in race 1.
Now, if we look at the back of this shot, the all-black bike is Daly. I'm sure he's disappointed with his start and already trying to think about making up time because he was so fast in the wet warm-up. But here he picks up the throttle. He's going around his buddy Ben Young, and sometimes you can save those, but that one happened pretty quick. And, of course, here you're just praying the bike doesn't take too big of a beating. On board here, we're watching from Jordan Zoke's Kawasaki, and there you can see Daly, and that's exit stage right.
No doubt about that one. Over the top goes Trevor Daly as the field gets set to reassemble. Puddle jumping in Shannonville. More in round one coming up right after this. The Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship is presented by GP Bikes and brought to you in part by Economy Lube and Tire, BS Battery, and Importations Thibault. Closed captioning for the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship is brought to you by Joe Rocket, MotorcycleCourse.com, Revs Forret, and Liqui-Moly. Colin back here at Shannonville Motorsport Park getting set for the restart. 18 laps after the crash of Trevor Daly. We're able to sit down this week with the one and only Ben Young as he gets set to ride with the #1 plate in 2023.
Yeah, running the #1 plate for the first time is going to be fun. I mean, it for sure has its challenges and pressure, but at the end of the day, in your mind, you always need to remind yourself that you earned it, and it's not, you know, it didn't come easy. So I always feel too, the #1 plate, it's always on rent. You never own it. So you need to keep that reality in check also.
Rent is due every day in the Canadian Superbike Championship, and never more than here in race one as Trevor Daly back on the grid, getting set for the restart. Jordan Zoke, 14-time champion in the 101 LDS Consultants Kawasaki, is away, but on the outside, it's Sam Garan slotting into second as Alex Dumas leads them through turn one clean.
Great start by Dumas. Of course, he was right there with Garan in our first start, so clearly these two guys are confident in the rain. Question is, what is Jordan Zoke able to do, given that he has been rehabilitating for quite some time, spent some time in the hospital this spring, so he's not in great fitness.
Certainly an uphill climb for him as he churns his way through in third right now as Sam Garan takes a look to the inside. Nice move in the hairpin, and down the backstretch they'll go. Drag race, you're on board with Alex Dumas.
Great shot from Dumas. You really get a sense of why you have to pull wide. You're going to get drowned in the spray. No fenders really on these bikes. And interesting, Dumas didn't really make it hard for Garan. I think he was quite willing to let someone else lead. But here's a shock. He goes right back into the lead. So he only really lost a turn.
Great speed carried through the end of the back straight here at Shannonville by Alex Dumas as he makes his way back towards the start-finish line, weaving through. You can see some of the puddles being bounced through as they make their way through the final corner here, Colin.
Fourth on the road is Young, who's on his last year title-winning motorcycle. So Young playing it conservatively, but these four have opened up quite a gap already.
As Jordan Zoke goes over the top, bike stands up and sliding through the grass. And Zoke is on his feet immediately, but a scary one coming off the injuries of 2022.
Yeah, so we watched third bike here is the Kawasaki of Zoke. He's fairly close to the curb, and of course the water's going to pool up there. And another situation where I think if he'd been in slightly better shape, he might have been able to hang on to that. And you can see he basically got spit off his own motorcycle, and motorcycles are gyroscopes. They want to keep moving forward. Here we go on board, and you can see Zoke's bike has righted itself, but we're going to see there's Jordan, and rough ride for him. I don't think his bike got much damage, but that's him for this race. He'll be looking at getting things repaired for tomorrow.
You can see Zoke watching his bike as it rolled away from him. That moves last year's champion Ben Young up into third position now as the battle at the front continues between Dumas and Sam Garan, who kicks it up a little bit there coming through the hairpin.
Yeah, Garan spun the tire in a puddle and had a bit of a dramatic moment. Now what's good here, and there's the yellow flag for Zoke, well, they're picking his bike up, which is really in turn two. What's good here is that Dumas and Garan didn't see the Zoke incident, but Young did, so it's going to be very much a cautionary tale for Young. I doubt that he's going to put a lot of pressure on because if you think you're going to be in the title battle, you have to think about points all the time. So I wouldn't be surprised if Young plays it cool at least for a while. The wild card here is Guerin, who's really only ever been in contention in races where it rained.
Feeling out these new Bridgestone tires as well in the wet the first time at full pace as they head towards the back stretch here. And what are they challenged with as they're going down the back stretch on these new Bridgestones?
Well, I think there's two things going on. One, you don't want to get too wet in the spray. Everybody's drowned by now. No one's wearing a rain suit or anything like that. But also you're trying to tell is, the biggest risk is the rain hits a point where it starts backing up. It's like your driveway. It's fine till it's not. This whole track is your driveway, right? So where a seam is, where there's a patch, where there's a curb is somewhere where suddenly the water could get to the point. You can see it's quite a big puddle on the inside of Allen's corner there, the second last turn. And definitely Dumas, and it's a manifestation of each rider's personality. Dumas is a very calm guy, probably comfortable with the electronics. On the other hand, Guerin is more of a cowboy and probably wants to feel the bike sideways to have a stronger sense of traction. Dumas wouldn't feel the need to extrapolate to that degree. Now watch here, Guerin looked back, which is rare. Guerin using a lot more of the track than Dumas, so he's feeling his oats.
Great battle at the top between Alex Dumas and Sam Guerin. Race 1 continues on TSN. Welcome back to Race 1 here at Shannonville Motorsport Park in the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship as Alex Dumas leads from Sam Guerin, Ben Young in third, Trevor Daly fourth, and Tommy Kazaz in his Parts Canada Yamaha in fifth place. As you can see, a thorn in the side, a run down the inside from Sam Guerin.
What a move by slamming Sammy there. He was both wheels in the air, and that led to a pass, which is just a bizarre set of circumstances. Guerin, obviously very, very comfortable in these conditions. Always sketchy to be that comfortable when it's this slippery, but Guerin getting the most out of that BMW, and I'm sure right now Dumas is wondering exactly how that worked. Now here's that moment, both wheels in the air, but what's remarkable is that move led to the inside pass. Now, Dumas doesn't fight him, the door's wide open, and Dumas, I'm sure, does not want to go offline on a track that might have a lot more water. Now we're on board with Dumas, and you can see Guerin's tight, and there's a pretty big risk there. You're going to get into a puddle. Look at how confidently he settles the bike on the throttle there. Really aggressive riding from Guerin, who's definitely star of the show right now.
First time that Guerin has led since 2020 at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, as he is in front of the field. Working through lap 7 now is the rain-soaked tarmac at Shannonville Motorsport Park. Continues to lead challenges as they head down the backstretch here once again, trying to prevent that wheel spin.
Yeah, you can see Guerin, just textbook riding style, very, very tight on the bike and trying not to upset it. This is probably the hardest spot right here because you're braking from the highest speed and trying to get your weight set and then not move much on the bike. And you look at Guerin right to the curb there, and that is risky because there's often standing water where the pavement meets the track-defining curb.
Really pushing the pace as Tommy Kazas has taken fourth place from Trevor Daly. In behind as this battle at the front continues, and so Tommy continues to work his way through the field after we've already lost Jordan Zoke to a crash earlier on. As you see the split there, just a second as Dumas trying to stay within punching distance of Guerin.
And I think our question is, is Dumas going to change up his lines and get more aggressive? Like, look at how high Guerin is there. This is the second time we've seen him. There he goes. That's the move that got him the lead. Obviously, it doesn't bother him. He's willing to do it. I think he was pushing quite wide there even in the dry and qualifying yesterday. But, Guerin definitely exploiting some advantages, but a lot of risk in his procedure.
Great shot high above here at Shannonville Motorsports Park, looking down on a sopping wet track as once again bouncing his way down the backstretch goes Guerin. So you can see him carrying as much speed as possible through the end of the back straight here on those Bridgestone tires. Let's go down to our Bridgestone pit reporter. It's Hannah Streak. Hannah?
So this is the first time that Bridgestone is a part of the Canadian Superbike Series. How does that feel?
It feels amazing. I mean, we get to watch these pros right now, like we're watching right now, go as fast as they can around this track in Shannonville, and it's awesome to be here. This is our first season. We've been excited. We've been prepping for this all year, and we've finally been doing it. It's great. Wish we had a little better weather, but right now, these guys are putting down amazing times, and that's a testament to both them, the teams, and of course our tires too. So it's great. You know, we couldn't ask for a better crowd and attendance right now too. So.
Well, it's great to have you guys here. Thanks for being a part of it.
Yeah, thanks.
Great to have Bridgestone as part of the Canadian Superbike Championship this season. Is a bit of a gap starting to build perhaps here. What are you seeing, Colin, between Dumas and Garand?
I think Dumas is still in observation mode. I think he can make that up if he wants to. The question is he willing to ride that aggressively given that he's got title on his mind? Garand probably has win on his mind. Also, let's mention Bridgestone. So much discussion about what the ultimate dry pace would be. Of course, we ended up running with the rain tires first. Everybody on the exact same tire here, but the lap times do reflect quite well on the new tire, and of course hopefully tomorrow dry track and we'll see what they can do with the slicks.
As Garand, his only top 5 finishes in the final 2 rounds last season, continues to lead out in front as Dumas, adding a bit of pressure here as we pass the midway point in race number 1 at Shannonville.
And Garand's bike is looked after by Steve Beattie, who's a Hall of Fame member, a very famous flat track racer, notoriously tough guy racer, and he and Garand get along really, really well. And last year they really struggled with setup issues, and now they seem to be past all of that, and Garand has, I believe, 2 BMWs that are working quite well. Look at this. Great to show you that ultra-wide line that Garand takes, and Dumas hasn't moved all that way, but he's definitely done a little studying here. And again, just the question is Dumas ready to hang it out to see if he can win it? And yeah, Young is behind, so that's good, but he's only 1 spot. That's not a lot of points.
You can see all the way in the background, there is Ben Young far behind our 2 leaders, and oh no, chaos.
Yeah, Sam Garand went down. It got away from him so quickly at low road speed like that, and that's the area we used to call the patio because so many famous people wound up watching the race there. Watching the replay, and Garand looks fine. He seems to be on top of his game, paying attention, everything just the way on. But look at how quickly it comes around, and he just cannot move his weight fast enough. Now, the good news is he didn't get hurt. Very good news, he didn't get hit by the bike, but the bike took a heck of a pounding going over that sounder curb. And watch from on board from Dumas. You can see, even in slow motion, how very, very fast it happens. We saw this with Zoke, we saw it with Daly in wet conditions, 200 horsepower. It gets entertaining in a hurry.
Dumas, our new leader. We continue in Shannonville next. The Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship is presented by GP Bikes and brought to you in part by Economy Lube and Tire, BS Battery, and Importations Tebow. Back to live racing action here at Shannonville Motorsport Park as Alex Dumas out in front with Ben Young sitting comfortably back in 2nd place right now. Out for a ride as the gap has opened up after Sam Garand went off on the final hairpin before the backstretch here, Colin.
And if you want to see how this field has opened up, for a split second there, we saw the battle for 6th in the front of this shot, and that is not how these things typically play out. So from Dumas' point of view, bad news, it's raining a lot harder. You can see it, you can hear it. Good news, he is no longer strategizing on how to win this. Looking at our results, got to mention Fraser on an X-Daily machine. First ever pro race, first pro national. What an effort on that Suzuki.
Hammonds Plains, Nova Scotia, making his way here to Shannonville. As you can see, Tommy Kazas and Trevor Daly battling back and forth throughout this. It was the 4-5 battle, now the 3-4 matchup.
You have a look here. We got sort of 2 different versions of weather protection. We have TV Tommy, who's got an oversuit on. It's probably helping a little bit. Behind them, Daly, their bike was rebuilt in a big hurry by Scott Cameron and Jeff Laidman. He doesn't even have a windscreen. They didn't get to the windscreen in time to make the grid, so Daly's getting hosed.
Yeah, Daly, incredible to be able to get back on top of the bike after that opening corner crash to kick things off in race number 1 as you get a look at the 2021 Bridgestone Canadian Superbike champion Alex Dumas heading down the back straight on lap number 17 in cruise control after the crash of Sam Garand.
So Marshall, I don't know what you think about body language. We just saw Dumas look over his shoulder, which is not typical. He's got a battle for position up ahead. I got the hunch he's not going to engage. He can do 1 lap at a lower speed. He's got enough of an edge, but definitely Dumas has physically, obviously slowed his pace.
You wonder how much his crew chief Patrice Goyette is sitting back there in the pit lane saying, just ease it home, Alex, because this is a beautiful purple skull Brewing Liqui Moly Suzuki that has potential to go right down to the end of the season in top spot.
Well, and Patrice and Alex, their hit ratio is just remarkable, right? They've only been in the series for 2 years, and they've won about half the races. Just amazing effort. You can see the last lap flag showing. And again, Dumas very careful through here. He's seen a lot of incidents over the course of this event.
Heads down, you can see the rain pouring down here at Shannonville. Back markers out in front of Dumas, and once again, I don't think he wants to go ahead and play with them after the instance he's seen here today.
No, you can tell he's trying to gauge the distance, and I think he's decided not even to try and pass them on the backstretch. He's just going to take it so easy. That's Royds and McDonald in front of us, and it's actually right now McDonald in front of Royds. They've been trading it back and forth throughout the race. They've had a pretty entertaining battle, and of course, Fraser in his first ever Pro National is in front of those guys.
Dumas, final time down the back stretch. The 23 ready to set up, race one, win one potentially if he can bring it home clean.
Yeah, I think he's good. Yeah, the guy with a ton of discipline. He does not ride emotionally ever. He and Ben Young have so much in common in the way they are fast on their motorcycles. But today it looks like he's going to take the initial points lead, but with Ben a distant second, it's really just shaping up like the last couple of seasons.
Checkered flag will fly here at Shannonville. Last season's second, he begins with a statement. Alex Dumas wins race number 1 in Shannonville.
And if you caught the end there, Ben Young caught up a lot, probably 5 or 6 seconds, and that's really Dumas slowing down. There's Kazas, so we know he got the edge on Dilly. So the top 4 really compressed a lot in those last couple of laps.
Incredible. The first podium for Tommy Kazas since Atlantic Motorsport Park in 2019.
And I think it was raining that day too. It was even more miserable than this one. So as we have a look at our boards, that's confirmed our Victor Dumas. Then we look a little further back. We were talking about Fraser and pumping his tires because boy does he deserve it as a rookie pro, first ever national as a pro. Normally that's not a good day. Royds and McDonald have a fantastic battle throughout, and Philip Leckie, good run to 8th on that young BMW.
Let's head down trackside to talk to our race winner, Alex Dumas.
Alex, congratulations. That was a fantastic race. Tell me how it felt.
It felt pretty good. I knew this morning I had the pace in the rain. I've always felt comfortable in the rain. And yeah, I was having a good time with Sam there. I thought I could get a small gap on him so he just doesn't try to pass me, but he was always behind me, so he passed me. I just let him in front. And yeah, unfortunately he did a mistake, and I was able to have a pretty good gap on Ben, so I just tried to manage that. Unfortunately, a lot of guys went down today, so it was kind of like a last man standing thing. But no, I'm really happy. Thanks to all my crew, Purple Skull Brewing, Luke Molly, MPG, Fast Riding School, Suzuki. Yeah, so far it's a really good start to the season, so I'm really excited and looking forward for tomorrow.
Alex Dumas is your winner. A 17-race podium streak continues for Ben Young as he searches for back-to-back championships. And the Hard Charger Award from Fast Riding School Martin Hamel goes to Trevor Daly for his incredible recovery in race number 1 at Shannonville Motorsport Park. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.